Hello and welcome to another episode of the Winning with Shopify podcast. It's Tuesday, which can only mean one thing. And if I had any special intro music for this, maybe we should get some that would play immediately as I say that. I have a couple of buttons. I got a drum roll, some dramatic piano, and a ballpark. No idea what that is. But anyway, we're going to leave those buttons alone. Don't know what they do. And I'll probably annoy editors and other people in the meantime. And they'll tell me to come back and re-record it. And I'm a busy man. So let's crack in. So if you've never listened to one of these before, it's a little episode. It's just me. And we're going to talk about what we've got on the list today. We're going to talk about tea, which I do love. We're going to have an amazing quote. We're going to talk about some of the Shopify news, what's going on with a couple of our partners, learnings from my agency, and then the most exciting thing as well, I've made my own word, quivier. We're going to have a quivier, which is a bit of trivia, which is going to be asked as a question. So question meets trivia equals quivier. Without further ado, what tea are we drinking? I've actually had more emails about the tea than anything else. So I've gone to town today. I'm drinking turmeric tea. You can see the little label there from Pucker, one of my favorite tea brands. Yes, one of them. If you're over in the US thinking they drink loads of tea over in the UK. Yeah, we do. And we don't just drink English breakfast tea as much as it has our name on it. Anyway, turmeric, check this out. ChatGPT told me it's an anti-inflammatory. And I'm going to go into any more detail about that today. It's good for digestion, it's good for your immune system, it helps with joint and muscle health, keeps your heart healthy, improves your mood, helps with cognitive functions in your brain, and supports your liver function. And it's just a cup of tea. How amazing is that? I feel like if you looked into any food enough, you would actually find out all these amazing facts. Or as a friend of mine said, who's a doctor, said, food is not made to fill you up or for you to eat. Food is made to make sales and make money. So just remember that when you're shopping. Just because it's on a shelf doesn't mean it's good for you. Anyway, today's quote of the week. I love this. This is actually from Shopify's president. And Harvey Finkelstein said, Shopify moves at a pace unlike anybody else. Our obsession with unlocking every opportunity and filling every important gap in the system to give our merchants the best chance of success is one of our superpowers. What I find really interesting about this quote is what's going to happen if their market domination continues the way it has. Because people are no longer going to be competing Shopify versus non-Shopify store. They're just going to be competing within the Shopify ecosystem. It's going to be interesting to see if that starts to change. But amazing how they want to empower Shopify brands. And we've definitely seen that with brands who've moved into Shopify. I don't need to tell all of you listen to Shopify, Winning with Shopify podcast, that obviously you are interested or probably already using Shopify. I wasn't here last week. It was a bank holiday in the UK on Monday, and I was having a lovely day off and completely overlooked the fact I need to record one of the episodes, even though my notes are ready. So I've combined them all into one. So there's more news than normal. I've got two lists, actually, one for Shopify news and one for just other e-commerce news. First one is we are officially into conference season. It's the 2nd of September today. And we are going into conference season. We, as in all of us, it's conference season, and then peak is obviously around the corner. So make sure you get ready for your Black Friday peak campaigns. If you don't do peak or it's not relevant in your industry, do something else. Or why not make it relevant to your industry somehow? It doesn't necessarily mean just discounting everything on Black Friday like everybody else. Conference season, though, if you are around for the e-commerce expo, I haven't actually got the date in front of me. Give me 2 secs. I'm going to grab that while we're talking. We've got a really big stand at Spec. So 24th, 25th of September. We're going to be there both days. We've got a really big stand right in the center of it. It's in the Excel in London, which I believe is a mile long as a building. And a big chunk of it is just the e-commerce expo. But my agency and I will be there. We're doing a bit of a challenge. So if you're in town and want to come along, it's a 2-minute challenge, and you've got 2 minutes for us to find as much as we can in your business. It's going to be a big red buzzer. You hit that 2-minute timer starts. In just 2 minutes, we can find 2 enormous things holding back your growth. So if you're in London or you're in the UK and you can come down to that, or you're traveling into the UK or visiting the UK around that time, definitely come say hi, bring your laptop. It's going to be a session not to be missed. Well, a couple of days not to be missed. It's the biggest e-commerce thing that happens in the UK, in my opinion. There's lots of other stuff. It's not just that one, but it is enormous. Some other stuff that's happening in Shopify then. So pickup in store is now available for B2B stores. You could have used the B2C platform anyway to run it previously, but it's available officially in the B2B Shopify platform now. You can make dynamic product bundles via API for Shopify point of sale. So bundling now doesn't just have to be for warehouse stock. It can be for shop stock, and it can also apply at the till if you scan through things. Like in a supermarket, it'll automatically then say you've got a meal deal or whatever, or these bundle deal of these 3 products, and bang, adds the discount. You can now adjust your prices by location, called retail markets. So if you have products, if you're reporting, if you have products in multiple stores, you can then report the revenue from them, if it's like $22 in one store, $21 in another, and $17 in another, or there's a sale in one store and not the others, you can do that via Shopify, so the point of sale system will work, and you can do it individually without having to make separate SKUs per store, which I know has been an issue for some people with physical locations. And this is a really big one in my world. Post checkout announcement bar extensions. You must start using this. Those are your orders. That is your homework. You are banned from listening to Winning with Shopify until you have used these. I believe they're available on about 80-90% of stores. I think there were a few that doesn't seem to have rolled out onto yet. What this means is when somebody has made a purchase, you can put an announcement bar at the top of the page. So they've made their purchase. There's a big opportunity at this moment. Most stores, once somebody's made a purchase, it's like a thanks, goodbye, we'll get your order out to you. You have the opportunity to say, you've got 3 hours to add another product to cart and we won't charge you any additional shipping, or here's a 15% off voucher to spend in the next hour on another product, and you can add it into this same order, no delivery cost, and we'll dispatch it all as one. There is also some very exciting other things to do to start engaging people, like sign up to our newsletters. Why don't you come and watch our shoppable videos, or whatever other big piece of content you can get them to subscribe or engage with there and then. So there's a really big opportunity to do that. Just because they purchase doesn't mean it's the end of the journey. If anything, when they make that first purchase, that's when the relationship starts. It's like a first kiss on a date. How disgusting for me to mention such a thing at work. But it literally is that point where they've made their first transaction. You now need to build the biggest relationship you possibly can with them. It's one of the biggest opportunities we see on Shopify stores that has not been grasped and grabbed and fully taken advantage of. Other news going on, multiple outlets are reporting this. And if you sell on Amazon and use Fulfill by Amazon FBA, I'm sorry, there are going to be additional fees for using Fulfill by Amazon over holiday season this year. I don't know how much, they've not specified, but they have said there's going to be additional fees throughout holiday season. So make sure you have a look at that and factor that into your profit and loss, and make sure you factor that into the price of your products and things as well, whilst also trying to be competitive. Lots of AI shopping agents are starting to be used. Someone can now shop for you. Sorry, an AI agent can shop for you and find you the best deals, find the product you want, and even some of these AI agents can actually check out for you as well. So make sure you're optimizing your site for that. I'll come on to that a little bit when we talk about some of the stuff from the agency in a minute, because we're talking about specifically about LLMs, which are an amazing file you need on SEO for chatbots and for AI agents. DHL e-commerce is now officially in the Saudi market. So if you're selling into Saudi Arabia, then that is officially available now. If you're thinking of shipping there, DHL can ship there, and you can do that within the existing DHL tech within Shopify, is my understanding. For anyone that uses Fair, which is where you can find someone who wants to physically stock your product. So say you, for example, when we had... there's a few different brands we've had on. For example, one that was selling bamboo socks called Bearkind. And Andrew was telling us at a meetup in June, which I'm going to talk about, which we've done another one as well recently. In fact, no, sorry, there's one happening in 2 days. If you haven't come already, you should get an email about it. I forget what date these things go out on, but the 2nd of September, this is going out. I'm recording it Monday afternoon, the 1st of September, but Thursday this week, Thursday, 4th of September, definitely come and check out our meetup. It's at a rooftop cocktail bar with pizza in London, sponsored by Molly. So make sure you come along if you're in London this week, Thursday, the 4th of September. Starts at 6 p.m. in Bishopsgate, which is really close to Liverpool Street Station. But Bearkind, who spoke at the last one, hence the segue into that, they mentioned last time and did a little talk about how they're using Fair to find people to stock their products. So if you're using Fair, it is now available, get this, in Europe. So loads of stores now, loads of physical stores are signing up. So you can find more wholesale outlets where they can sell your product for you in their physical store. So Fair is a really good platform for doing that. And again, Andrew was talking a lot about it from Bearkind. Feel free to go onto Bearkind's site, reach out to Andrew and ask him for advice. He's very, very happy to help with people. And he runs a little consultancy as well. So there to support you guys with growth if you need. And the final bit of news is eBay payment window has increased to 7 days for an auction winner. So if you sell on eBay, which I know a lot of you guys do, if you sell on eBay and you do any sort of auctioning, which I know a lot of you don't do, but if you do auctioning, 7 days it can be before somebody actually pays, hence 7 days before you actually dispatch the product. So just be aware that is a change on eBay. Partner news this week. I was wondering which partner to talk about because there's a few bits and pieces going on. We've staggered them into future weeks. And actually what I want to talk about today is the episode that went out on Friday, if you haven't already listened to it. We spoke to Bookkeep, which is an app for Shopify, and it can help keep things like Xero and Sage and your accounting software outside of Shopify up to date. So you get better tracked information and more real-time information. I cannot speak highly enough about how important it is to have your business data in check. The only reason my agency and all the other businesses I'm involved in are growing is because I've got a good grasp on my profit and loss reports. If they're not accurate, I cannot make proper decisions. If they're not kept up to date in real time, I'm making decisions, or everybody's making decisions late. So make sure you check out that episode from Bookkeep. If you want an easy life and or you want to sell your business one day, so either an easy life or sell your business or both, you need to keep your books up to date. So go and check that out. I know it's quite a dry topic and it's not about the super fun video campaigns through Meta or anything that we talk about lots of weeks, or how to evolve your product that I know you guys are very passionate about. If you don't keep the books in order, everything else is going to fall apart. And if you do a bit more work in the interim, or front load a little bit more work as you're starting out, make it a lot easier for yourself as time goes on. I've only got 4 updates, from the agency. I've only numbered 3, and then there's a 4th one. We'll call it a bonus one, 3 and a bonus on the end this week. There is a PPC trend that's happening on Google Ads at the moment. And there's been a big debate, and lots of you guys have been messaging me through the community, and I have a few emails on this as well. And lots of our clients ask, should we just have 1 or 2 big PMAX campaigns on Google Ads? Or should we have lots and lots of little niche campaigns? Logic says have lots of little niche campaigns, because then all the adverts are super relevant and you can spend money a bit more on this range here, a bit less on this range if you do it by range, which you should really do it by range if you're going to split them down quite with a lot of granularity. But actually, we're finding that more products in one big campaign seem to work better. The reason for this that we're seeing in the data at the moment, and this is a change over the last 3-4 months, the reason we believe and what the data seems to be telling us, and it seems to be because it's all about how you interpret data, seems to be because a customer then can see like 5 or 6 different products from you across multiple ads, multiple sites, multiple places. Whereas if you just got all your campaigns broken down individually and you look at a pair of shoes, you're only going to see those types of shoes everywhere you go. But actually seeing that this company have some really cool t-shirts, some cool hoodies, some cool hats, some cool accessories, some cool belts, then that pair of shoes that you want to buy, or the pair of shoes you end up buying, pops up. It can actually be really, really good context for you to make a buying decision as a customer, which is why we're starting to find that not just having one campaign still broken down a bit, but not broken down too granular, seems to be what we call the Goldilocks scenario from the old story of Goldilocks. Not too big, not too small, and there it is. We've got a new client who thought everything was flying along nicely on Google Ads. And we then started to look at the search term reports. And most brands we look at, and most businesses we talk to, looking at their search term reports, which is what someone's actually typed into Google to trigger your advert to come up, we find a majority, we're talking over 50% of the things that you come up for is irrelevant, and no one seems to be blocking that stuff. This is what I learned in 2007. I would have learned how to do a negative search term report. That's how long they've existed for. They've not been available in PMAX until now. As an agency, I think we've been given early beta access to these in Google, so we can add negatives to Performance Max. It's been a game changer. So if you're not using those already, reach out to Google and ask, or reach out to us, and we can probably get your account approved quite quickly to have that feature. But you should absolutely be adding negative keywords. Quick sip of tea. Love it. Turmeric tea. Game changer. I'm going to be a superhero by this evening. Right, a couple on SEO then. There's been a real shift on SEO, and it's actually very similar, completely unrelated, but it seems very similar to what's happened on Performance Max about not having too much granularity. On SEO now, Google's getting smarter, and AI has massively helped with that. And what that means is if you've got 100 variations of a keyword, and you therefore in SEO have made 100 versions of that page with all the different nuances and different slight changes to that keyword, which might be like the color of the product changed, for example, we're finding, and Google's done an algorithm update recently, we're finding some sites have been hit, as in their rankings have dropped because they're being too granular with it. And what Google's saying actually now is we want all your sort of similar keywords together. You can only have a different page if there's a specific reason. Which color, you might argue, and this is where you need to test these things, you might argue color is a reason why you should have a different URL and a different page for that piece of content. But actually, if you find that, for example, you sell men's shoes and they're all brown, they're all made of leather, and then there's different sizes. If you've got like 20 different variations of men's brown leather shoes across 20 different collections or pages or blog posts or guides or FAQs or something else, Google's going to say, actually, can you just kind of combine all those together? Now it's the same information, just slightly rehashed. We only actually want one version of the page, and that one version of the page should rank better than all the other 20 used to. So it should be higher than all 20, higher than any one of those 20. Final thing on SEO. And this one, again, applies to AI. It seems to be a hot topic. I don't know if you've heard of it. We seem to be using it more than anything else at the moment. LLMs. So that's the bot that actually goes and crawls your site for chat agents, for AI bots like Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, etc., etc. Google reads that file I've been talking about the last few weeks, the llms.txt. Google reads that file, but we've realized other agents like ChatGPT and stuff don't. So it's still good to have that file, but we've now realized it's only Google that actually reads that. And that wasn't public information until ChatGPT announced it. I think it was 8 or 9 days ago. So it's pretty hot off the press that. You should still have it, but just for the record, there probably going to be some other updates to ChatGPT in terms of a ChatGPT and other AI agents actually crawl sites. Right, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? 15 minutes, and we got through all of the notes. The final thing then, so quivier. This week's quivier. This one shocked me, actually. I get given a whole rafter of stats every week and facts and cool quotes, and I choose the one I think most relevant or most similar to other content we're talking about, or the one I sort of see brands and hear people talking about the most. How many sellers on Amazon generated over $1 million in sales throughout the whole of 2024? So in 2024, how many individual Amazon sellers generated over $1 million in sales? Have another sip of tea and give you a quick moment to think about that and come up with an answer. So I'll tell you my first guess. My first guess was about 750,000, so 750,000. The answer actually, which did shock me, was 55,000. It's still a bigger, I mean, if you imagine 55,000, that's like a sports stadium full of people, a decent sized sports stadium. But actually, I thought it would be much higher than that. But I think it goes to show, actually, some sellers are doing it really, really well, and a lot of sellers are not doing it really, really well. So if you're using Amazon, read into it a bit more, get good at it, and start selling your products better on there, and find the main reason why people buy products on Amazon. I'm locking my phone. That is the end of today's episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. Get some turmeric tea. We don't have anyone to recommend. Just get any turmeric tea. It's amazing. It's going to change your life. Hope you can join us on Friday. And if you are around on Thursday and in London, come to our meetup. 4th of September on Thursday, 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. There's pizza, cocktails, rooftop bar. I've just checked the weather. It looks okay. It is London, but it looks okay. If not, there is an inside area where we're still on a rooftop bar, but we're not outdoors. Hope you can join us. If not, next episode comes out on Friday, and I'll be back for another Tuesday tea break talks, which is a bit of a tongue twister. I'll be back next Tuesday for another one of these as well. Hope to see you soon.